hasn't even been a month, and rumors have been circulating that Big Meech himself has cooperated with federal law enforcement to bring down his own friends. Was Big Meech, the leader of the BMF empire, responsible for setting up his inner circle to make a move that would shock everyone? Or did Big Meech get used by his business partners to infiltrate his own organization? Keep watching as we take a deep dive into the rise of BMF, what led to their fall, and the rumors surrounding Big Meech's release. But before we get into the video, I want to thank everyone who's been subscribing and liking the videos. It helps push the channel. Let's try to get this video to 100 likes, and we're on our way to 5K subs. But also, here's today's sponsor. The Black Mafia family, or BMF, was one of the most powerful drug empires in America. But behind the glitz and street fame lies a web of betrayal, secrets, and federal informants. How did one of the most powerful figures in the game go from controlling a multi-million-dollar empire to facing accusations of betrayal from one of his closest allies? Today, we're breaking down the story of Demetrius Big Meech Flannery, his infamous crew BMF, and the shocking claims that have recently come out to light. Keep watching to see how the BMF empire rose to power and how the empire might have fallen from within. The Black Mafia family, or BMF, was one of the most powerful, notorious crime syndicates to ever operate on U.S. soil. Led by Demetrius Big Meech Flannery and his brother Terry Southwest T. Flannery, BMF rose to power in the early 2000s, establishing a national drug empire with operations from coast to coast. But BMF was about more than drugs. Meech had a vision of building a brand that extended beyond the streets and into the industry that would also be music. This story is one of success, power, and ultimately betrayal.
On their payroll.
Where you from? I'm from the Black Mafia family, the biggest gang in the world.
It's cross-branding, right? You've got the music, and you've got the product, and you've got the women, and you've got the, the image. All these things are kind of playing off one another. If you're talking about music, if you're talking about the drug trade in those days.
It took a lot of ability and leadership skills to hold together all the moving parts that they had going on, just like it does in any corporation or business.
They structured it like an organization where they had like their top level, the CEO, the COO, the CFO.
And then you had your logistics, your careers. They were a very good crew as far as a drug organization.
There's the caricature and the stereotype of what a gang leader is or what a drug lord is. It's New Jack City, it's Scarface. But the reality of it is you get success through planning, through patience.
BMF controlled the cocaine trade across major cities like Atlanta, Miami, Detroit, and LA. But they weren't just known for moving weight. BMF was also like a brand. Powerful image that even touched the rap world. Big Meech's vision went beyond drugs. He had a love for music and wanted to transform his empire into a legit force in the hip-hop industry.
We have these two brothers who came from Detroit, came from nothing, and built literally a $270 million, by conservative estimates, organization employing 500 people.
The whole idea of a Black Mafia family, it was like a ghost story. Cops told it like you would tell it to your kids. There was no presence. You didn't see them anywhere. But if you asked people on the street, you mentioned BMF, they wouldn't talk about it.
But that they were large-scale cocaine distributors moving hundreds and thousands of kilograms of cocaine in multiple states around the country from coast to coast and essentially living like celebrities.
Everybody moved like brothers, and everybody from different places: Milwaukee, St. Louis, Detroit, Texas, Atlanta, Cali, Florida. We got people from everywhere, and everybody move as one. Everybody is prospering in some kind of way, in their own way. Every man plays his own role, and everything starts with the leader. I'm a good leader, so I got good people that follow. You know what I'm saying? It's simple.
From the mid-90s to early 2000, Meech and Terry went from a $1 million a year business to a $1 million a week business. The only way to achieve that kind of growth in the drug trade is to increase the supply of your product, and that usually means cutting out middlemen and getting closer to the source.
Demetrius Flannery went out to California. He just went out there looking for sources. He hooked up with one of the co-defendants, Wayne Joyner, California guy who knew some Mexicans.
Meech
Bennery brothers had connections with the hip-hop world, most notably with Young Jeezy and Blue Da Vinci. A rapper signed to their label, their ambitions was to create a brand that blurred the line between street life and mainstream entertainment. But their growing profile ultimately led to their downfall.
On a trip to LA in 1999, Meech's dream of breaking into the music industry became possible when he was introduced to a young, aspiring artist named Barima McKnight, who was rapping under the name Blue Da Vinci. For the entire lifespan of the record label, Blue Da Vinci was the only artist signed.
What we're focusing on right now is Blue Da Vinci. I believe that most labels take so much time out and focus on so many artists that you can never get the realness out of the one artist because you're focusing on 10 or 20 artists. That's why all our independent focus is on what Blue Da Vinci gonna do. If he take off, then we take off. If he don't take off, then we don't want to take off.
It was totally realistic when you see these guys and say, well, they're part of the music industry. They look the part, they act the part, they understand the culture of the hip-hop lifestyle. It's not like they were trying to open up, a bunch of McDonald's or something like that.
And this BMF entertainment thing is more than just a record label, production, some niggas doing music, or just some street niggas, man. This is really all about going state to state and linking up motherfuckers from the streets, man, from all over, no matter where you from.
By 2004, Meech had solidified himself as a public figure. He was actively sponsoring young rappers in and around Atlanta.
His father was a musician. He surrounded himself with musicians. I think that he had a genuine love of the rap scene in Atlanta in particular, which was blowing up.
In 2005, the government launched a massive operation taking down BMF, one of the biggest drug busts in the U.S. history. Big Meech and Southwest T were sentenced to 30 years each after pleading guilty to charges related to drug trafficking and money laundering. Most thought that Big Meech would be the reason for their downfall, his lavish lifestyle, previous gun cases, and always being on camera. But in reality, it was the quiet mastermind in Southwest T that would bring down the empire. Law enforcement managed to tap T's phone, and investigation began to take shape.
By 2005, their brand had taken hold. BMF was regularly associated with A-list hip-hop acts such as Young Jeezy, Slim Thug, and Fabulous. At their high water mark, billboards that read, "The world is BMF's," could be seen throughout major American cities, seemingly a testament to their success in the entertainment industry. But by the end of 2005, a sinister shadow was cast.
Tonight, 2 local men are in custody in connection with a major drug investigation. More than 200 pounds of cocaine, 100 pounds of marijuana, and as much as $1.5 million in cash. Yeah.
Agents say in this whole operation they seized 6 kilos of cocaine, 80 pounds of marijuana, and seized more than $1 million in cash and in assets.
After years of covert law enforcement investigations, it was revealed that BMF was actually a cold, calculated criminal enterprise, hiding behind a very public disguise. Over the course of 15 years, the crew had made over $270 million in trafficking cocaine around the country. Using confidential informants enabled the investigation. They were able to identify a phone number for a BMF manager named Benjamin Johnson. Shortly after, they successfully got a court-ordered wiretap to listen in on his phone calls. After only a few short weeks, the Detroit DEA struck gold.
But we immediately knew that it was Terry Flannery by his commanding voice and Benjamin Johnson's respect and deference for Terry.
What up, though? I need you to fly to Florida and drive this car back to Detroit for me. Okay, when you need me to do that, sir? As soon as possible. Okay, that's not a... Fly to white boy. Yes, sir.
There was an intercepted call between Terry Flannery and his sister, and Terry poured his heart out to his sister. He was very frustrated with Demetrius, very angry over their split. He was very concerned that Demetrius's flamboyant lifestyle was going to cause law enforcement to identify what they were doing and bring heat on the whole organization and bring them down. The irony of it was that Terry's calls were being intercepted by DEA.
On October 28, 2005, the long-awaited federal indictment for Demetrius and Terry Flannery was unsealed. 25 BMF members were initially charged with a range of felonies, including money laundering, conspiracy to distribute cocaine, and for the brothers, running a continuing criminal enterprise.
In fact, the problem for us really became not was there enough evidence, but it became keeping the evidence organized, trying to determine what evidence to use and what not to use. We had so much.
The DEA's case was based on wiretap evidence, both on Terry's and Meech's side of the organization. The IRS had compiled a massive amount of evidence demonstrating that the two brothers had been hiding and laundering huge sums of money, proceeds from illegal drug operations.